Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a great and wonderful day. It seems that a little bit more of a light is heading forth. It seems McCarthy is doing what we ask of him to do, is to impeach the great and overlord Joe Biden because of, of all of his shady dealings that he's been doing. Now, obviously, this could be also due to the fact that this could be a wash. This could not really be anything. But I just want to go over a few things here that kind of shows exactly on what's happening in what's happening here and who's actually for running it. Because I think the key point here is who's running it and who's pushing it is stronger than some of the other people that you might be seeing. So we have this here: McCarthy to greenlight Biden impeachment inquiry this week. So we have this. We have the Fox News Digital has confirmed House Speaker Kevin McCarthy will tell House Republicans today that beginning an impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden is the logical next step. The House GOP conference plans to hold a meeting on Thursday morning for key committee chairs to lay out the arrest findings and the status of the investigations into the Biden family. House Judiciary Committee Representative Jim Jordan and House Oversight Committee Chairman Representative James Comer, are expected to lead the Thursday's meeting. At the meeting, McCarthy expected to say an impeachment inquiry in this logical next step for the Republican majority. An inquiry is the step of the impeachment process where evidence is gathered for the articles or charges of impeachment against an official. The special reference meeting on Thursday is in addition to Wednesday morning's regularly scheduled weekly GOP meeting, where leadership typically lays out priorities for this week. Thursday's scheduled meeting was first reported by Punchbowl News. So yeah, what we have here is kind of what's been going on and all this stuff. Now, it says, to open an impeachment inquiry is a serious matter, and House Republicans would not take it lightly or use it for political purposes. The American people deserve to be heard on this matter through their elected representatives. McCarthy told Breitbart News in a statement, that's why if we move forward with an impeachment inquiry, it would occur through a vote on the floor of the People's House and not through a declaration by one person. So, yeah, that's what's been going on here. I think we could go further down to kind of understand what's really going behind it. I may believe it's through Chip Roy, which you've seen some of his stuff here as well. I think we've gone by. And Matt Gaetz. It says, even over here, it says Gaetz threatens to force vote for McCarthy ouster every day if he's not in compliance. And it sees that this is from, Marjorie Taylor Greene, McCarthy, not McCarthy, but Gaetz. So if it's from these people, at the same time, impeachment hardliners from Representative Matt Gaetz have threatened to attempt to remove McCarthy if the House does not follow through with an impeachment vote. Yes, exactly. So as you can see here, Gaetz is really pushing this, and I can see why. Now, here's the thing that everybody's going to get confused, right? Everybody's going to get up in their panties in a bunch and stuff like that. A lot of the people, especially the far left, is going to go say, oh, well, you're doing this for a political attack. This is a political attack on Biden and what have you. And it's like, and then we could also say the same thing. Well, okay, then hold on, leftists. What's going on with the whole President Trump as well? President Trump is also being politically attacked. So if you want to say this is a political attack, then the other thing for Trump would also be a political attack. You can't have two things here happening, saying one thing's another and one thing's not. Trump is obviously being politically attacked. And we can go and say that this is a political attack on Biden as well. Let's be honest, it could possibly very well be. It's not really much of a surprise here. However, I would want to believe, at least the people going for it, with Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and people like this, are probably to have some evidence. In the sense they're going to gather evidence and all this stuff before actually fully going forward with it. Now, we can be sad or whatever if the Republicans are actually going to move to this. Because again, Republicans have been bloody terrible. And I think the new wave of Republicans, people like Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe some of these people, they may be where the new Republicans have to start aiming for, so we can actually get things done. Because the old guard, the establishment Republicans, those people need to go. We already know that they're garbage, and they are not useful as much as the Democrats are. But what we have here is this simple matter. is we go up here, we have Foreign Affairs issue launch with former Vice President Joe Biden. So we're going to go here, kind of go over it for about a minute, and then I'm going to read some of the key things he said here that is pretty huge. This was obviously when it was Vice President. So, this was in 2014, and there's going to be more information coming out, so don't worry.
I got all the good ones. So I got Ukraine. And I remember going over convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over, for, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time. Well, they made some genuine, substantial changes institutionally and with people. But in one of the three institutions, there's now some backsliding.
The courts?
Yes. And they had made that commitment that they wouldn't do that.
So, again, we have this here. We're going to go with the typical $53 billion and stuff like that. And again, as he says in the transcript here, as we see, we go back further, there's not really one thing here, there's just this here. But I said, so they said they were walking out to a press conference. I said, nah, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority, you're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. So again, it's the actual amount of money that is going to be spent here, and what Joe Biden has literally been called out and shown here that he has actively prevented a person from getting $1 billion. And there's going to be more information coming out, don't worry. So we have this. Former Ukrainian prosecutor accuses Joe Biden of corruption. So this was back in August 25th. I don't think I actually did a report on this. But it says, former prosecutor general over Ukraine, Viktor Shokin, accused President Joe Biden of corruption, saying that while he didn't want to wade into unproven facts, his belief was that Joe Biden bribed Ukrainian officials in exchange for Shokin's firing. I do not want to deal in unproven facts, but a firmly personal conviction is that, yes, this was the case. They were being bribed. The fact that Joe Biden gave away $1 billion in U.S. money, that's us, by the way, us as people, in exchange for my dismissal, my firing, isn't that the lone case of corruption? And I'm not trying to say that, you guys are too stupid to understand that, but what I was trying to say is, as Americans, he gave $1 billion without our knowledge, without us even knowing, to other foreign entities that we as a people probably wouldn't even agree with at the time. Especially in 2014, or even before that, to where hard of us wouldn't even know what Ukraine was, or what was going on in Ukraine, and now, all of a sudden, legitimately 9 years later, almost 10 years later, all this stuff is going on. In fact, it's not even 10 years later. Almost as soon as Joe Biden came into office, there was a war almost immediately started. Shokin has played a central role in the conspiracy theory related to Biden and Ukraine, and has long claimed that Biden pushed for his removal because Shokin was investigating Burisma Holdings, the company where Biden's son Hunter sat on the board. So, State Department officials, anti-corruption activists, and European diplomats have all disputed Shokin's claims, arguing that he was fired because of his failure to prosecute Ukrainian politicians for corruption. Shokin's former deputy, Vitaly Kasko, also previously stated that while there was once an active investigation into Burisma, it was dormant at the time that Biden joined calls for Shokin's removal during his time as vice president. The Justice Department under the Trump administration also investigated allegations about whether or not Biden was bribed and found claims that Shokin to be supported by the facts. So, yeah. This is the type of thing that's been going on. And we have more here. On January 18th, Biden boasted about withholding a loan to Ukraine until the prosecutor was removed during a talk at the Council of Foreign Relations. So, as he has made here. Now we have this. Hunter Biden called D.C. to get Ukraine prosecutor fired for Burisma. His ex-business partner reportedly testifies. So again, there's more information here going out and saying that, obviously that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden were working with each other to get dealings and stuff done with with people in Ukraine, where this is kind of obvious. I mean, this is not really news to a lot of people that are obviously that watch my channel, because all of you guys kind of stay up to what I have. But this is also kind of more of a recap for everyone as well, because we see that Biden is not normally like the most trusted person on the planet, and we can make arguments as well with the Trump or what have you is not the most trusted person on the planet. We can make those arguments. We can not like the man, rightfully so. Maybe he may get on some people's nerves. I don't really care about his actual words, because his words don't bother me. What does bother me is actions, and so far, a lot of Biden's actions have proven to be immensely harmful to the United States and its people. And Donald Trump hasn't really done these things. Now, people can point out articles or DM me, email me, and list things to me of what Trump may have done that's been bad. But so far, we haven't really seen anything that warrants that issue from him. Again, we have a majority of Americans believe Joe Biden as VP was involved with some business dealings. So, again, a lot of Americans believe that the VP was involved in some business dealings, which also means that Americans are wanting to do or understand that he is corrupt. So if you have a majority of Americans, believing that that Biden was in business dealings with the other state, with out of country places, then obviously the impeachment has more weight here, and there will be less pushback from the idiots, right? Because obviously there is not going to be very much pushback if majority of Americans think so. So again, there's a majority of 61% say they think that Biden had at least some involvement in Hunter Biden's business dealings, with 42% saying that they think he acted illegally, and 18% saying that his actions were unethical but not illegal. Another 8% say they don't believe Joe Biden had any involvement in his son's business dealings during his vice presidency. The 38% are just the delusional idiots, the far left. So take that as it may. But of course, 42% think he acted illegally, and 18% think that his actions were unethical but not illegal. That's partly because the people that probably don't think that it was ethical is probably not very known on the law or our system. And that's to be fair, though, right? I mean, I'm not going to say that I know a lot about our legal system as well, including with some of the higher stuff as well, because people just live their lives and don't know a lot about the higher levels of law as many other people, such as myself. So that kind of understands why you would have such a have 18% believe his actions were unethical but not illegal. So you have a good amount of people saying that it's unethical, but not only is it illegal. And I think the impeachment will clarify that for people. You have more of this here, where this is Macaulay Zelensky. So we're going to go over a few things here that is kind of proving our point here with the whole Biden corruption thing. In April 2014, Burisma Holdings board of directors named Hunter Biden, son of then U.S. Vice President Joe Biden, to Burisma's board as directors of Burisma, where he was said to have earned over $80,000 monthly. Joe Biden had the point man on Ukraine after February 2014, when the pro-Russian president Viktor, we're just going to call him Victor, was ousted and fled. Then the U.S. President Barack Obama's administration was prepared to work with the new government, a position shared with European governments and institutions such as the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. So, we have all that here. In April of 2014, the Serious Fraud Office of the United Kingdom froze approximately $23 million belonging to companies controlled by Zelensky. At the end of 2014, Zelensky fled Ukraine amid allegations of unlawful enrichment and legalization of funds. During his tenure in public office, in January 2015, Prosecutor General Vitaly Yarema announced that Zelensky had been put on the wanted list for alleged financial corruption. This is going all the way back to here, ladies and gentlemen, to where this is going on to where Joe Biden had actively gone on and pretty much said that, you're not getting this money. He is the prosecutor and stuff like that. And he's now being forced to flee. So if he's being forced to flee and all this stuff, and he's going to be arrested, that problem, isn't it? That sounds pretty bad. At the end of the January 2015, the Central Criminal Court in London released the 23 million that were blocked on accounts of Zelensky due to inadequate evidence. Ooh. In the June 2018, the serious fraud stated that the case was closed. So, this is another huge thing that is going on here. On June 18th, 2018, where Donald Trump was, president at the time, and again, as Tim Pool said, I'm not going to say that he did this or what have you. I don't think Trump had anything to do with this. However, the Solomenski District Court in Kiev had annulled the rulings of the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office to close a criminal proceeding against him in 2017. Zelensky was accused of having illegally issued, while he was ecology minister in 2010 to 2012, my apologies, oil and gas licenses to the companies that belonged to him. And we have this as well. So, again, I think it's not unreasonable to think that Joe Biden comes in and wants to potentially start a war with Ukraine to clean up all this stuff that's been happening. Or, if he doesn't start up the war, which he probably instigated through dealings or negotiations with Russia, these are accusations, right? These are assumptions. We're doing, because there's conspiracy theories here. Come down, YouTube. This is conspiracy theories. This is assumptions, theories. Come on, this is just assumptions here. Cool down. That he either started a war, or which we do know, Vladimir Putin did start a war with Ukraine, and they want to defend Ukraine so none of this stuff can be exposed on truly what happened on Joe Biden, as Tim Pool said. So, that being said, I don't even know what's going to happen here. But I wouldn't put it past Biden to probably start a war or defend a war that would be in his negative interest, so that way he can hide the shady dealings that he's been doing back in those other places. Because then he could really be blamed for, honestly, treason. I still think Joe Biden is treasonous. And I think that he should be behind bars because for this treason. And the impeachment does this. I don't think they're actually going to put him in bars per se, but I do think the impeachment is definitely warranted. We have this as well, that Ukrainian efforts to sabotage Trump backfire. Donald Trump wasn't the only presidential candidate whose campaign was boosted by officials of a former Soviet Union bloc country. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton and undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office. They also disseminated documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption and suggested they were investigating the matter only to back away after the election. And they helped Clinton's allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors at a political investigation found. So, again, they were all in cahoots with the Ukrainian people. I don't know what more to tell you guys, that the people in the higher up politicians that are in this country right now are the most corrupt individuals that I have possibly ever seen. And the only way we could probably have more corruption is Ukraine. But our same politicians, our same people that have this endless amount of money, these elites, are the ones talking with Ukraine. And the fact of the matter is they're trying to go after a man that won the presidency, and they're still going after the man that won the president, that lost the presidency, that has no actual threat to them other than, him becoming president. It's insane to me, right? So they were trying to implicate Trump in corruption, and they backed off after the presidency was done, which probably means 2020 when Trump lost, they backed away. There was no threat here. Now what we're seeing is that the Democrats are going after them. This, of course, is slightly two different things, but this is the insanity here. We're living in a time to where we have very corrupt individuals in our office, both Republican and Democrats. And these people need to be ousted, and these people need to be removed and put in jail cells. And the fact of the matter is, I'm glad this impeachment is coming through. At least I hope it does come through. Because we have to fix a lot of the damage and stuff done to our country. And I think Matt Gaetz and a few other people are going to be able to solve this problem that are higher up in our government right now. And unfortunately for us, we had to sit and wait. But I want these things to go by. And I hope everybody understands on how corrupt Biden is and all the things that he's been doing, and potentially just use your critical think here a little bit. Maybe he started the war. Or maybe if he did not start the war, then what is the case if he's defending Ukraine so no other information about him that's coming out gets released? Because there could be even more deeper stuff tied in that we don't even know. This could be just the surface for all we know. And if this is just the surface, then it's significantly worse than we ever possibly imagined. We've got to always think of the worst case scenario, and obviously it could be worse. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.